Okay. It's fine. It's a good manana in any way.
Could you tell us, Preeti ji, how ChatGPT you have used for getting a lot of understanding?
Yeah. So I used both ChatGPT as well as Perplexity. There is a Perplexity, there is a same like ChatGPT. So what I did, I took a screenshot of this sloka. Okay. I took a picture and I put it there saying that, can you please explain me this verse? And
Okay.
it gave me all the explanation, taking from the whole of the world, all the database. And then along with the examples, it gave me. Yeah.
Oh, really, really? Very good, very good. I think we should also learn to utilize these facilities. Correct, correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of wasting time going around so much studying and then getting the crux, it gives the crux in a way.
Oh.
It has its advantages and disadvantages, but
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
yeah.
But do you feel overwhelmed with the kind of information because you're selecting all the throughout the world?
No,
and
it gives a
is
nice
it
summary
overload?
actually.
It gave me PPT also actually, but then I thought PPT would be too much, so I thought I'll just go through whatever it has given.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we'll start the session with the prayers.
Ma'am, one second. Isn't there a flip side to ChatGPT? I mean, people don't use their, I mean,
Can you say that again?
everything is given ready-made, so isn't that people are not using, especially children? I mean, for grown-ups, it is okay. We have grown.
No, I don't. I would not advise it for children. When it comes to research and stuff, it becomes a little easier at the later stage. But in the beginning, when it is in the formative stage, I think they should use their mind. सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अश्वत्थाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् Hari Om. So we will start with verse 5. Preeti ji's summary of verse 5.
Yeah. First, I'll read out the verse from the book. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnanabhyasad nirmalam krutva jnanam swayam nashej jalam katakarenavat. So, meaning the individual soul, that is jiva, tainted by ignorance, ajnana, becomes pure, vinirmala, through the practice of knowledge, jnana abhyasa. After purifying the soul, knowledge itself disappears. So this was like outstanding for me, ma'am, when I just read this, that itself disappears. So that was, oh, okay. I didn't, when I always used to read this, but never this came to my mind. But yeah, just as the powder of the Kataka nut, Kataka Renu clears muddy water and then settles down itself. Detailed explanation. The state of Jiva, individual soul, the Jiva is described as Ajnana Kalusham. Ajnana Kalusham, meaning tainted by ignorance. Ignorance here refers to the fundamental misunderstanding of one's true nature, mistaking oneself for the body, mind, or ego instead of the eternal self, Atman. The role of knowledge, jnana. Through jnana abhyasa, the repeated practice or cultivation of self knowledge, the jiva becomes pure, vinirmalam. This knowledge is not ordinary information, but direct insight into the true self, leading to the removal of ignorance. Kataka nut analogy. The verse uses the analogy of Kataka nut, Strychnos potatorum, traditionally used in India to purify muddy water. When powdered Kataka nut is added to turbid water, it attracts and binds with the dirt, causing the impurities to settle at the bottom and leaving the water clear. After purification, the Kataka powder itself also settles and no longer needed. Dissolution of knowledge. Similarly, once self knowledge has removed ignorance, even the knowledge itself is no longer needed and disappears. What remains is the pure self luminous self. This is like using a ladder to climb a wall. Once you reach the top, you no longer need the ladder. Examples to illustrate. Kataka nut in water. This is example one. Scenario. Water in a village pond is muddy and unfit for drinking. Action. Villagers add Kataka nut powder. Result is the powder binds to the dirt, settling at the bottom, and the water becomes clear. What is the analogy here? The muddy water is the jiva, tainted by ignorance. Kataka powder is the self knowledge. Clear water is the purified self. The settled powder is a dissolution of the knowledge after its purpose is served. Example 2. Darkness and light. A room is dark. No amount of cleaning or rearranging removes the darkness. Lighting a lamp instantly dispels the darkness. Here, darkness is ignorance, the lamp is self knowledge. Once the light is on, darkness vanishes, and the lamp itself is no longer the focus. What matters is the clear vision it provides. Another example is about ladder to the roof. Same thing. So, what analogy here is the ladder is self knowledge, the roof is realization of the self, and the act of discarding the ladder is the dissolution of knowledge after enlightenment. There's a fourth example which other ChatGPT gave. It is soap and dirt. Just as soap removes dirt, but it is also washed away with water. Spiritual knowledge removes ignorance and then becomes unnecessary once a self is realized. So, what is the essence and practical implication? Self knowledge is a tool, not the end. It removes ignorance, after which the pure self alone remains. The process is transformative. Just as water is restored to clarity, the jiva regains its true, pure nature. This teaching emphasizes the unique self consuming nature of liberating knowledge in Advaita Vedanta. So, at last, the summary is the verse teaches that just as Kataka nut powder purifies water and then settles down, self knowledge removes ignorance from the soul and then itself subsides, leaving only the pure self. This highlights the catalytic and ultimately self-effacing role of true knowledge on the spiritual path. That's all.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So all our Kataka nuts are like these scriptures, which is what our Mano, Buddhya, Hankara, even the Nirvana Shatakam and everything. Many scriptures will say this. The knowledge only until you realize. After that, even that is no longer this thing. Whenever there is a delusion, there is a veiling of ignorance on us, we remind ourselves through maybe a chanting, maybe some verse from a scripture, something. We remember that I am not this ignorant mind, but I am that self which is the ever free Nitya Mukta Atma. So I need some tool to remind myself constantly. But once I'm established in it, none of this holds any value. That's why they say even the self, and they realize even Vedas don't matter. Even the Vedas, it is beyond even the Vedas, that knowledge. Because that is it. Knowledge is only part of the intellect. When the intellect has to constantly turn around and look at the higher self. Right? So, great. So, let's do our very nice, Preeti ji. That was a good, I hope everybody enjoyed. It's just like one revision, right? Each one of us is doing our own revision. I think it will drive that verse deeper into us when we do this kind of research. And for everybody, it is one more revision again. You wanted to say something, Preeti?
Thanks for the opportunity, ma'am, actually. So, when you gave me, I was little not so comfortable, but when I started looking into it, it was a good experience, actually. As other ma'am told last week, I forgot her name. As a child, how she was looking, I was also, when these examples came, I was looking around for the examples which can relate to this. So, yeah.
And this gives an opportunity for application. Once applied, if one knot is removed, then other knots become so easy and life becomes so simple.
Yeah, we know how to untie them.
Yes.
But to know, see, if we go to somebody like Nochu Swami and all that, they can quote from different this thing very beautifully from the memory. That is another. So to continue that journey of learning everything also. But this is a quick one for where we are right now, isn't it? Where we are right now, it helps us.
This exercise provokes us to apply it in our life.
Yes.
When we do it on our own, we may
Yes,
hear
just
hundreds of
listening, when we
lecturers.
just
Yeah.
listen it, but this becomes a study now.
Yes.
It actually becomes a study when we are taking up a verse and doing it.
Even pronunciation, I took it from the YouTube and how to pronounce this. And I was not so perfect though. I was listening to it like 4 or 5 times. I listened to it how to
How
read
many
the
days
word.
works, Preeti ji? How many hours, I would say?
Hours, ma'am, hours.
Hours,
2, 3
right?
hours. That's
2,
all.
3 hours. So, but
Yeah.
that is work, right? It is going
Yeah.
on in the mind. You are doing that. You're picking it up. You're trying to practice. So that manana is what
Banana.
this encourage. Okay. So let's, anybody who wants to chant, somebody, Mamta ji, Vijaya ji, Prema ji, anybody who wants to chant?
I can chant. If nobody else is there, I can always chant. So,
Yeah. Okay. Nobody else seems to be there. Yes, Ramachandran ji.
okay. तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते बोधो न साधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनम् पाकस्य वह्निव ज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति अविरोधितया कर्म न विद्यां विनिवर्तयेत् विद्या विद्यां निहन्त्येव तेजस्तिमिरसङ्गवत् परिच्छिन्न इवाज्ञानात् तन्नाशेषति केवलः स्वयं प्रकाशते ह्यात्मा मेघापाये अंशुमानिव अज्ञानकलुषं जीवं ज्ञानाभ्यासाद् विनिर्मलम् कृत्वा ज्ञानं स्वयं नश्येत् जलं कथकरेणुवत् संसारस्वप्नतुल्यो हि रागद्वेषादिसङ्कुलः स्वकाले सत्यवद्भाति प्रबोधे सत्य सद्भवेत् तावत् सत्यं जगद्भाति शुक्तिकारजतं यथा यावन्यायते ब्रह्मा सर्वाधिष्ठानमद्वयम् उपादानेऽखिलाधारे जगन्ति परमेश्वरे सर्गस्थितिलयान् यान्ति बुद्बुधानीव वारिणीम् सच्चिदात्मन्युनुस्यूते नित्ये विष्णौ प्रकल्पिताः व्यक्तयो विविधा सर्वाः हाटके कटकादिवत् यथाकाशो हृषीकेशो नानोपाधिगतो विभुः तद्भेदाद्भिन्नवद्भाति तन्नाशे केवलो भवेत् नानोपाधि वशादेव जातिवर्णाश्रमादयः आत्मन्यारोपितास्तो ये रसवर्णादिभेदवत् पञ्चीकृतमहाभूत सम्भवं कर्म सञ्चितं शरीरं सुखदुःखानां भोगाय तनमुच्यते पञ्चप्राणमनो बुद्धिः दशेन्द्रियसमन्वितम् अपञ्चीकृतभूतोत्थं सूक्ष्माङ्गं भोगसाधनम् अनाद्यविद्या निर्वाच्य कारणोपाधि रुच्यते उपाधि त्रितयादन्य आत्मानम् अवधारयेत् पञ्चकोशादियोगेन तत्तन्मय इव स्थितः शुद्धात्मा नीलवस्त्रादि योगेन स्फटिको यथा वपुस्तुषादिभिः कोशैः युक्तं युक्त्या वद्घाततः आत्मानमन्तरं शुद्धं विविच्य तण्डुलं यथा सदा सर्वगतोऽप्यात्मा न सर्वत्र भासते बुद्धौ एव अभासेत स्वच्छेषु प्रतिबिम्बवत् देहेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिः प्रकृतिभ्यो विलक्षणम् तद्वृत्तिसाक्षिणां विद्यात् आत्मानं राजवत्सदा व्यपुस्तेष्विन्द्रियेष्वात्मा व्यापारी वा विवेकिनं दृश्यते ब्रेषु धावत्सु धावन्निव यथा शशि. I think we covered up till 19. We started with 19.
We started with 19.
19, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
yeah. So we were talking how the moon appears to be running when the clouds move in the sky. It looks as though the self is acting. I think the first paragraph. Why don't we read from the second paragraph? The steam, you can read.
Yes. The steam in the engine.
We will
Shall
start
I-
from the first paragraph. When the
okay.
imperishable self.
Okay. When the imperishable self sheds its illumination and expresses itself in the life of the perishable individual, it looks as though the self itself is acting. The actions and movements are of the sense organs, that is indriyas, and not of the self. The life spark in us, which is the sole nourisher of all life. It gives the organs their capacities for such manifestations. The steam in the engine supplies the power for the locomotive to pull the train of carriages. It has neither a favor for nor any prejudice against anybody traveling in the attached compartments. The steam has no particular destination to reach. Similarly, when the Supreme Atman expresses itself through the body, mind, and intellect, the self seems to act, but actually, the self participates in none of the activities of the sheaths. It has nothing to gain through any such activities.
We will stop.
Yeah.
We will hear, but my internet seems to be having a problem. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes. There may be some discontinuity in the audio, but
light disturbances.
Ma'am, you can keep the video off. I think it'll be better for some time.
this is a very, very important verse, I think. We need to study this in a little more detail because there is one line which says the actions and movements are of the sense organs, not of the self. And there is one more in the maybe the last but one paragraph. It also says life as such is not active. I think we need to annama paper paper மெதுவா life as such is not active. That is the penultimate paragraph, that is in the next page. It says, in fact, life as such is not active. The vehicles thrilled by life act. So this life as such not active is a statement we need to understand a little more. This is an important one.
So to understand this, I am on the phone now. So just to beat my internet issues. Now, the way to understand, so what it is telling is this: whatever is happening, it is only through the senses which are acting. That is activity. It is like the self is the consciousness. The self is the consciousness, and all activity is happening in it, but not by it. It is
Ma'am,
not
it is
happening.
actually, sorry
Huh?
to interrupt. It
Go
is
ahead.
actually, it's I mean, it's a eureka moment because हमको तो नहीं, we think it is the self is only acting.
That is what it is saying. It appears like when the clouds come, the moon is also moving, but the moon is actually not moving. It is where it is the clouds that is moving, which is making the moon look like it's moving. Like when you are sitting in a train, the station is where it is only. But because you are moving, it looks like the station is moving. Like that, the self is just where it is, and all the activities are happening in the self, but the self is not doing it. That is why we say, I am not the doer. The real I is that self. The ignorant I is the ego, which is part of the finite mind. This is one way of putting it, but it is contested these days. I would also like to say, the way Swamiji has explained, in a way, how it is also told is everything that is moving is also his form only, but it is not the self which is doing. So there is no activity in the self. Let us keep it like this only. So the ego only, there is an action right now, but in the self there is no action. So when we say in the self there is no action, let us imagine ourselves. Have you seen this virtual reality glasses that people wear to play games these days? They have this big lens kind of thing which they fit on their eyes, right? And when they are playing in that, they feel like they are only moving in that game. They are only shooting everybody. They are only climbing up certain things and jumping over certain things. But actually they are sitting. That virtual reality, and what is happening is actually on a 2D screen only. But that virtual reality lens makes it look like it is a 3D. And in that 3D, they are moving in. When you look at the world as the self, I don't know if you can, but the self projecting outwards, it is like that. This world, that virtual reality lens has been fitted into my eyes. Everything that I am seeing only in my mind, isn't it? So in the mind, whatever is being seen, it is actually like some 2D image on the screen, right? What we see the movie, it is a 2D image on the screen. Like that, on this consciousness also, it is like a 2D image, but these lens, these eyes, these lens, they make it look like that 3D for us. And like we are walking in it all the time. This body, consciousness is there, but this body is only like a robot. Nothing more. It has lived with artificial intelligence. Now this artificial intelligence has also come up. ChatGPT is a part of artificial intelligence. It is making all the connections for us and giving us one nice summary. So we don't have to use this intelligence that is within us. But whatever happens, even if everything, all the intelligence you can replicate, till there it is fine. That is what this Jada, this Pancha Kosha is only till there. The computers can go, whatever AI and everything, it can take it up to the Pancha Kosha level. But that consciousness will only make that aware. If I don't have the consciousness, how will I be? Only because of the consciousness I'm seeing the world. If there is no light, I cannot see anything. No. Whether it is there or it is not there, what is that? It's as good as not there if there's no consciousness. Only if the consciousness is there, then the seeing is there. Only consciousness is there, then the thinking is there. Only if that is, I am observing the thinking. No, I'm aware of the thinking. If the consciousness is not there, there's no awareness of thinking. So thinking is not there. So the light it is something like the electricity is flowing. The fan is giving air. Is the electricity giving air? No. The electricity is flowing. The refrigerator is becoming cool. Is the electricity making things cool? No. Like that consciousness, that self is powering everything, but it is not actually doing anything. The self is shining its light on everything, but it is not actually the doer of anything. If you compare it with electricity, I think we can make it very clear. The electricity is not doing anything. It's just flowing through wherever, everything. It is not either showing the light that is a function of the tube light, the laptop, this thing, everything according to its function it is doing. Electricity is not doing anything. It is just there. Like that, the self is just there. Person is actually sitting only. He's not doing anything. Right? He may be using some thumbs or something. He's not actually doing the jumping. He's not actually, but it looks like it's happening, right? So there is no doer. The self is always separate. It is not doing anything. There's no activity. There's no seeing. There final seeing. Even though we say the self is the one that sees at the end, what it is it is showing its light, throwing its light to reveal everything to us. That's all. Is this too confusing? Little? Yes, Rajesh. Sorry, Divya. You have raised your hand.
Ma'am, this you said we are aware that we are thinking.
We are aware of that we are thinking. We are aware of the thought.
Yeah. So that I mean that even a stone, it is
दिव्या
like,
जरा जोर
but
से
it
बताओ.
also, अरे जोर से ही बोल रही हूँ मैम, आंटी जी, इससे ज्यादा जोर नहीं होगा. वो that the stone na, it doesn't have the awareness, but it has consciousness.
Yes. This is what, no? Why is there is no awareness in the stone, but there is consciousness in the stone, which we read earlier. Certain planes are able to reflect the consciousness.
Intellect.
So the intellect is that plane which can reflect the consciousness, and that is not there in everything. That is why even in animals, there is the mind. So it has emotions, it has everything. And the intellect is at a very small developing stage for its survival at the Mooladhara level only, which is mostly, recreation, food, not recreation in the sense of procreation. Procreation, ahara, maithuna, bhaya. At this level, it knows how to protect itself, for that whatever is the little intellect is needed. It is not fully grown, the intellect in it. Only in humans, the intellect is completely well grown, and hence it reflects itself, and I have this sense of I as a separate individual. That we saw earlier, Divya. That is the difference between us and the stone.
Yeah, that is what we said. We discussed it last class, na? That intellect is a double-edged. I said it's a double-edged sword. Even though it is a thing which helps us reflect the consciousness, but it is also leads to
because
ego.
it is looking outwards.
Ah.
As long as it is looking outwards, we will act like the animal through the animalistic instincts.
So as such, animals
but
and
as human beings, we have the power to turn it around and be with the self.
So ma'am, when you look at it, as animals and plants, they don't have much ego, na?
Animals and plants don't have ego. They don't have a separate sense of I-ness.
Yeah.
That I am the doer, I did this. They don't have, because the intellect
So
is not
more realized
they are
than
not
us? No, I'm just thinking, are they more realized than humans?
No. They have not been designed to have a separate sense of I-ness at all. Because their intellect is not fully developed at all. So they are more with nature. That is true. But they are not realized. Because to be realized means first you should be ignorant and then you should realize. They are just acting according to nature, but they are not aware that they are acting according to nature. They have no choice. They have no choice. There is no sense of I-ness only. For us, there is a choice to be with the I or with the self. There is a choice to be with the lower self or the higher self. That is why humans are supposed to be the highest. Because we are given that, first of all, we are given that curse of having a separate I-ness. And then we are also given the boon of turning around and becoming one with the awareness. That has not happened in the case of animals. Is this clear? First, we come with ignorance that and then I turn. When I am as a child, I am pretty much like that, like the animals only go cry, like everything, nothing. I'm one with nature, no this thing. So after the ego starts forming, my kundalini, the ego starts forming, then I feel, oh, I want this shoe, I want this dress, I want this. Slowly, that separate I-ness starts building. And then there is a knock on our door saying, sorry, the separate I is not you. That's not you. There's no separate I at all. That's an illusion. And it makes us turn and move to the self.
This,
for which we have gone through many janmas already.
Human janmas only.
Human janmas, possibly because we have already come here. We are listening to all these, means at least a few janmas we would have some kind of exposure. So the self does not act. Whatever action happens is a delusion as a movie on the self. Because everything in the world itself is that consciousness only. So, just like in the body, the breathing is happening, the digestion is happening, everything is just happening. Happening on the consciousness of the screen of the cell. Like that electricity, it is untouched, there is no actual doing. When I'm saying, so it is a mistake. When I'm saying, I am feeling happy, I cannot have a feeling. The feeling is separate. It is just a sensation. The I cannot feel. It is something like saying, when I'm saying I am sad. The sad is a sensation. I is untouched by that. I say I am happy. The happy is untouched. The self is untouched by that happy. Whenever you are caught, just to tell yourself, I am Nitya Mukta Atma. I am already Nitya Mukta Atma. When I say I am sad, it is my ignorance which is telling I am sad. Actually, that I, that self is always available within us.
Ma'am, sorry, ma'am, I have another question. So
Go ahead.
isn't it a bit contradictory? You're saying that, you might why after attending so many satsangas, I am still having this question. This Shakti or this energy, that is also God's creation only, no? So how can you...
Beautiful question. It's a very good question. So here, the world, if you see the world, right? The world is a combination of Purusha and Prakriti, Shiva and Prakriti. Shiva and Devi, Shakti. Shiva Shakti, Purusha Prakriti. Now, what is Prakriti? Now, to understand this, take a seed. When the seed is now filled with water, it has the full potency. The intelligence is there in the seed. The intelligence of the tree is there in that little seed. That intelligence that is there in the seed is the Purusha. But then there is a movement. That movement pushes out the shoot and the roots. So anything, the Purusha in movement is Prakriti. The consciousness in motion is Prakriti. I am just sitting, just to keep sitting, okay? You just be sitting. Suddenly you will think, now I have to go do this work. That is a seed of Prakriti. I have to do is a part of Prakriti. I think is a part of Prakriti. That Prakriti is consciousness in motion, the self in motion. So everything, only the observer is the self. Everything other than that is non-self or Prakriti. Everything that is observed by the self is Prakriti. Is this clear? Today, very high level. No? Listen, I don't know if I am expressing it clearly.
Drishya Viveka.
Huh?
Drishya Viveka.
So, everything that I see, now I am seeing. When I'm just sitting and I'm observing anything, I observe this. This is a part of Prakriti. This is an object in Prakriti. I observe my body. Anything I observe with my 5 senses and mind is part of Prakriti. Anything that I'm doing through my senses and mind is part of Prakriti. So, let us even get this. This body, I am seeing the body. Where am I seeing the body? In my mind. Even the body I am actually seeing only in the mind. It is a 3D projection which makes me feel like there is a body. The body is also in my mind only. Close your eyes. When you're having your bath, you close your eyes and you pour water on it. You will feel like the water is a waterfall. So you feel the body. That is also a part of the Pancha Indriyas, Jnanendriyas. You hear the lub-dub of the body through the Pancha Indriyas. You smell your body, Pancha Indriyas. You taste when the mouth closes and you feel there is a taste that comes. That is a... So all the 5 senses are perceiving everything around us. All this perception that is happening through the senses is not the self. And other than this, what else am I now perceiving? I'm also perceiving the thoughts which are there in the mind. There is no separate thing as a mind and the thoughts. The thoughts make the mind. It is not like there is a mind and all the thoughts are just throwing out. It is all these thoughts which make the mind. So now these thoughts are being perceived. So that is also when I am seeing this object. I am perceiving it. So it is other than the self. That is also part of Prakriti. I am also seeing my emotions, that there is a little bit of sadness, there is a little bit of anger. That is also part of, I am walking with my karmendriyas. That walking is happening in the self, but the self is not walking. How can you say I am actually walking when that walking is only perceived in my mind, and in my mind, in the dream, I am walking doesn't mean I'm actually walking? In the dream, if I am walking, does it mean that I'm actually walking?
No.
Like that dream happens in my mind, in this mind. Similarly, this walking is also being perceived in the mind.
Yes.
So is the walking actually happening? It is like a dream walking only, no? Anybody who is like totally gone with this whole thing, or please raise your hand. Varalakshmi ji.
Ma'am?
Oh, my walking is...
No, see, only the body is walking. We think, as you told in dream, we are not actually, the body is not walking. There, in mind only, because of the dream, we think we are walking. But actually, no action is taking place in the dream. But so when we are wake up, body is walking, but the self is not moving at all. Only it thinks
No,
it is.
now here is where little. Even when I wake up, the body is walking. Is it walking? It's a very huge perception shift, okay? From the perception, it's a huge perception shift.
Body
Where
is
are you
walking.
perceiving this walking body?
So the whole thing is an illusion?
Yeah. Who said
No,
that?
body is moving now from one place to another.
The body, but you're seeing it in the mind. That's what you're saying.
So it
No,
is
no.
just an illusion.
How could you
Somebody is
be
talking.
illusion?
Diva. Yes, everything is an illusion, is how Advaita philosophy is. The only reality, the only thing that is true, but this you cannot, when you apply it in the life, it becomes very, this thing. This is very
Confusing.
theoretical.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But the truth is, what it is saying is, that nothing is actually happening. This whole world itself is an illusion only. That is why it says Jagat Mithya Brahma Satyam. Are you understanding why Jagat is Mithya right now? If my walking itself is a Mithya.
Maya, ma'am.
It's Maya.
Again, that is Shakti only, no?
It is all Shakti. My walking is Shakti, which is being perceived. Let us keep it simple here. Let's not go too high. Okay. So, Prakriti, I am seeing this world. The walking is happening. The walking is part of Prakriti. I am observing this walking. So, that is the self. The observer of this walking is the self. The observer is not walking. The walking is being perceived in the observer. So that observer is separate from the walking. So everything that is happening in the consciousness, the walking is happening, my hand movement is happening. I am aware. I can see my hand moving. I am aware. All this is Prakriti, and the Purusha is the one who is only observing everything. It is like you are sitting in your room and you're watching. Your children are coming, your children are going, your husband is coming, your husband is going, something is happening in the kitchen, the maid is coming, some cat comes, the dog comes, the TV runs, this thing is happening. You are sitting still. And everything that is happening, you are observing. So everything that is happening around you is Prakriti, and you, the observer, are the Purusha.
So, ma'am, simple, the stable mind is Purusha, and anything that moves is Prakriti in simple terms.
No, there's no mind at all in Purusha. The stable
Self.
And the mind is part of Prakriti. Everything else. So there is only one self, And the multiple forms that appear in this self is Prakriti.
So any
And
thought the self makes is Prakriti.
Any thought that arises in the self.
Self, okay.
So you are only an observer.
Yeah.
The observer is not bringing up the thought. The
It's
thought
just
is
happening.
coming
Just happening.
because
Yeah.
of the impurity. The thought is coming up because of your vasanas. Okay, the thought is coming up. It is like there is a mirror in which I am seeing that mirror, and there is a lot of impurity on that, and from some impurity, some fumes are coming out. So it appears as though the fume is coming out of that mirror, but actually it is coming from the impurity. So it is the vasanas which bring up the thoughts. It is not I who bring up. I am only observing what is happening, because everything else comes because of vasanas, and vasanas is an impurity on the self. Like you have glass. Glass is colorless. In that they put a red color tinge, and hence everything looks red. That, and inside that there is a water. Now water also will look red water, but that water is actually not red. It is separate from this whole thing. Let's not confuse. Let's move on. Let's read what Gurudev says. So basically, it says everything that. So let us understand that self is only an observer or a perceiver. Self is only a perceiver. Everything is happening in it. The self does not do anything by itself other than perceiving.
Okay.
Ma'am, send the recording, ma'am. Again, we have to listen.
We
No,
will
I
read.
think
We will read.
today our Preeti ji has given a good solution like ChatGPT. I think you can take it and then you will get a lot more of insight into this. It's a good this thing. You can.
Yeah.
Maybe I think we can request Preeti ji to once again give a small. Okay, it's not required. As Aarti madam mentioned, we'll just keep it simple and then we'll go with the flow of the lecture. That will be because the more we try
Yeah,
to explain.
let's read Gurudev's words a little more.
Yeah. So I think I'll continue the paragraph.
Yeah, go ahead.
So whatever thoughts and actions spark up within and fly past a given individual, the self alone is the substratum for all of them, and it is in the light of the self that they are recognized and experienced. There would be absolutely no manifestation or existence of life, either in the individual or in the cosmic order, without the omnipotence of this supreme self available ever so readily to sustain them. A
So
person
to
who
tell this, just shortly, if there is no observer, what is there to be observed? If there is no perceiver, what is there to be perceived?
nothing is
Nothing.
Nothing. That is what this is saying. There would be absolutely no manifestation or existence of life either in the individual or in the cosmic order without the omnipotence of this supreme self. Please move on. Yes, Ramachandran.
A person who lacks in his powers of discrimination, that is aviveke, aviveke, does not perceive the truth playing so evidently beneath the play of manifested life, but mistakes the activity of the not self as that of self, even though the self perceptibly remains only as an unbiased witness and a detached observer. In almost each one of the verses, we are given a comparison without which the mighty and glorious existence of the self cannot be indicated as the immaculate, ever uncontaminated by the frolics of the unreal. Here, The illustration is that of the moon, which seems to be childish folk as moving because of the clouds that pass in front of it. In a train journey, it looks as though the trees and hillocks of the countryside are moving fast, while actually it is indeed the train that is moving. Through a moving medium, even a motionless steady object looks as though moving. The objects observed gather to themselves the properties of the medium through which we observe. Okay. And the illustration employed here has very deep significance to those who can clearly meditate upon it. The entire import of the illustration can strike us down with a joyful amazement when we visualize the picture clearly. Imagine an observer from the surface of the vast earth who is 6 feet tall, looking up at the moon that glows thousands of miles away through clouds that are a few miles away from him. And yet, the observer cries, "The cloud has covered the moon," or "the moon is running." Similarly, the infinite self, when viewed through the restlessness of the body, mind, and intellect, looks as though agitated and active.
Should we stop? We'll stop here.
Okay.
So, this is basically to say that the self has no movement, the self is not feeling it. If there is a feeling, the self is not feeling. If there is a thought, the self is not thinking. The thinking is separate from the self, like a third party. It appears as though the self is thinking. I feel like I am thinking because I am identified with that moving object rather than the self. If I am, this is just about being a sakshi here. Okay, everything. When you are a sakshi, that witness mode, when you just you will see that the thought arises, something comes, something happens. You are just that emotion. You are even when you do yoga, you are just sitting. There is a pain in this thing when you stretch, but you're aware of the pain and you still hold that pain there. So you are not that pain. You are the one who is aware of that pain. So you are not in pain. The pain is in the body. And you are aware of that pain. That's the wrong creation. The body is a certain pain, but I am. Similarly, in the mind. Are you here?
Too much breaking voice, ma'am.
Hello, can anybody speak up?
Ma'am, your voice is too much breaking, ma'am. Can't hear continuously.
I think the video is also freezing a little bit.
Video freezed, but voice too much broken.
Now is it better?
Ma'am. Didn't hear anything.
Hello?
We can't see you, ma'am. Again, the voice is breaking. Yeah, now we can see you. We can, ma'am, please say something. We can hear you.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Maybe today my internet is not so good, so everybody can turn off your videos.
On or off, ma'am?
Off. Let's turn it off. Okay, so let us see how this works. So it is simple. If I'm saying I am sad, I am not. If you put it in very, very simple and life application way, I am sad. I can never be sad. Drop the sad. What remains is I am. I am actually the observer of the sadness. I am perceiving the sadness. So that sadness, I am actually not sad. That sad is a feeling, and I am not the feeling. I am the perceiver of that feeling. So when you remove that perceiver, saying that that is not me, that is the anatma. In I am sad, sad is the anatma. What remains? I am. And what does I am mean? I am this existence. I just exist. And in this existing, I am observing. I am aware of everything that is happening. Now, this is in very simple words. This is what it is saying. I am an engineer. Engineer is anatma. It is only a role. I am a mother. Mother is only a role. That is a part of Prakriti. It's only a role. I am not a mother directly. There is a child, and hence there is a role that I am playing with that child, and that mother is transient. That mother, I was not a mother before. When the child came in only, I became a mother. So I am a mother is not truth. So what is the anatma? Take away the anatma. Anatma means that which is not the atma, opposite of atma, no? That which is not the atma. So remove the anatma. What is remaining? I am is remaining. Are you all with me? No, nobody I can see, so I can't see any nods or anything. Is this okay?
Ma'am,
Yes,
am I
madam. I think
audible?
we are able to follow you.
Yes, ma'am. We are with you only. But muted.
No
Ma'am,
problem.
when you said this, that the self is not the doer, suddenly Ramana Maharshi's words that Summa Irida, that Bala ma'am always says. What is like that again? The doership should not be there, is what he's meaning, na?
Exactly. So anything that we are saying, I am the feeling, I am the doer, that's another, yes, that's the way we can apply it in our life. That's a beautiful way to apply it. As Divya is telling, if the self is only the perceiver, so just like I'm not the sad, just my walking is also not my doing, then how can any work that I do, this is a little different, Divya, what you're telling right now. Here we are saying the self is only the observer. Any doing is happening only by the anatma. Any action, how does action happen? Because there is a vasana. That vasana brings up a certain desire. That desire brings up a certain thought. The thought then is converted into action, and there is a doership. So there is a vasana. I want to study. I want to say, let's say, I want the vasana is I want to eat some food. So because of that, then there is a thought of what kind of food I want. Then that food comes, and then I take action, and I am doing. So whatever is being done, it is being done and in the observer and not by the observer.
Yeah,
Actions
ma'am.
are happening.
The jnana part is that the self is not doing it. It is only the indriyas, that is karmendriya and jnanendriya, or the panchakosha. On the sheath level only the action is happening. Am I right? None of the action is done by the self.
The ego cannot do it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The ego cannot do anything without the shining electricity behind.
Yeah. But we think that because we have ego, we think that it is the ego which is doing the mind-body complex or ego, which is part of it. Or
I wrongly associate the observer with the action and say, I am doing it. Just like I'm saying, I am sad.
that is how doership
Remove the
talks.
anatma, I am. just am. I am the doer. No, the self, you just remove that anatma, then just I am. So basically, it is not the thought that I am not the doer also. It is the thought at all point in time that I am, I am, I am. Even when you are doing, there is no thought of, oh, God is doing through my hands.
That is again a thought only, no?
So the only thought is I am, I am, I am, even when everything is being done. There is just that observer, there is just that sakshi, and everything is just being done, happening in it. So then there is no sense of doership that arises, which I have to overcome also. I just am. That is
We
what
can't
this
do
is
negation,
establishing
ma'am.
here.
Yeah, ma'am, I know, but we can't do negation since I'm still at the mind level. I am not doing it. I am not doing it.
Atom, I am not doing, you're still being with the mind, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
When you
negative.
see, there is the story of when you there is this it's like you cannot remove darkness by trying to negate the darkness. You can only remove darkness by switching on the light.
Yes, ma'am. I
So by
understand.
being in the mind, you cannot remove the delusion of the mind. You have to step out of the mind into the light of the consciousness to remove the delusion of the mind.
So how do I step out of the mind? Is only through chanting or meditation or whatever.
That is a katakanat.
Okay.
That is a katakanat, which Preeti ji just spoke about. It is all about chanting. Just say I am. Just say I am. All of you just say I am and just sit. What does that I am say to you? I am nothing else other than this existing I. That running electricity through everything. So I am not the doer also. I am not the thinker also. I am not that everything, the thinking is just happening in the consciousness. Everything is happening in this thing. So so then there is no doership. So we can tell a lot of things to bring it into simple ways. I am not the doer. How am I the doer? Even this finger I have to lift. It lifts. So many things have to work to make this. So how can I be the doer? That is a simple way. Today we are taking a slightly intellectual angle of jnanam, which is more complicated than these simple ones. If it does not work, we will go back to that. It is just one trial, because in the earlier verse, we studied about the intellect. So, and this is a jnana marga. Jnana marga is the most difficult marga. Okay, and this is the jnana marga. So we are trying to apply the intellect here. In Laukika terms, we can tell, and we can tell that I am not the doer. This finger is also not lifting, also cannot be done. Just an intention and then everything. All those kind of logic we can bring in. But here, what we are telling is, I am is just there, and the doership is it's just happening in the consciousness. Like the phone is appearing in my consciousness right now, or in your consciousness right now. Like things are appearing, like a fly is appearing in my consciousness right now. Like that, this movement of the hand is also an appearance in the consciousness. That consciousness itself is not doing anything, it's only observing. So whenever I am saying I am moving my hands, I remove the anatma, I move my hands. That movement of the hand, I am moving my hands, is the anatma. So I just say I am. And that I am is the observer. And that is what I am. And I stay in the self. So then there is no doership. Every doing is happening in the self. The self is only observed. Let us do this today. After this, maybe we will see. But maybe little practice of this will also help. We will try. Yes, Preeti ji, you raised your hand. Anyone who wants to?
Yeah, no, ma'am. Actually, when with all this, we are listening to this every day, right? Every day, our I can say thought process now, because intellectual, whatever you told, right? It is increasing day by day. So we are trying to understand. Whatever you're telling may not be we understand 100%, but at least we are having that path. Okay, this can be this, and all, and it is helping in my day-to-day life also. Like I used to do overthinking. If my manager used to tell something, I used to overthink. He might have told in this intention, that intention. Now nothing. I just observe. Okay, it has to happen. I have to listen to this. He has to say that. It's just something is happening, uh, just like that, nothing is real kind of thing. All those thoughts come and all, it makes me light.
Yes, it happened, it went, and I don't have to overthink about it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's go with this now. Whatever you heard, what is your connection? Please share. How do you connect with it today? I am. Like the electricity, the fan is turning. But the electricity is all not actually turning the fan. The electricity just is.
Ma'am, but yeah, sorry, I'm like too much in the thinking mode today. But this say always the doership should reduce. So today, when it's said here that we are not the self is not doing it, it is the indriyas which are doing it. It
Yes.
I don't know, it struck somewhere. That's why I'm questioning. But then the power to do for the indriyas comes only from the self. Is that what I was thinking?
Yes.
That's a
True.
different. I understand. But I
So
think
it
that,
is like the indriyas are like the fans. Fan and light and refrigerator. The power for it is coming from the self, yes. But it is not actually doing the same. Isn't it? The power for it is coming, the electricity is coming, the indriyas are like the fan to this thing. And the mind is like, so this is at one level. If you go beyond, it changes. So that's why I'm also struggling between two areas, but just trying to simplify. So the power of sight is because of the eye. The power is from the self, but the seeing is through the eyes and the mind. That's so I am not the doer.
Is this the reason Sadhguru's motto is this is not my body, this is not my mind?
The body and mind is not me.
So means
It is
any
not
meditation
mine
you
also.
when you
Yes.
hear Sadhguru's meditation, the simple lines they state is this is not my body, this is not my mind, and they ask you to keep on chanting the same. So probably the very reason is because of this.
See, you are right. So I am not the body and I am not the mind. But at another level, I'm just going to throw it to you. At another level, we say I am not the body, I am the doer is part of the smaller ego. And the higher, we know that everything is just happening. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita that I am the one shining through everything. So ultimately, it is I who is acting through Arjuna, who is killing I as Karna. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So that's why I asked, because we ourselves are contradicting, I feel
contradiction,
sometimes.
no, ma'am.
So there is a contradiction here. So what is the essence you take out of this then?
Everything is at surface level. Like sea, we think not the deep sea is very calm and it is not moving like that. But in surface level, because of the waves, we think the sea is sea has full of action like that.
Correct.
Can we compare like that?
That's a
Because
beautiful analogy. At the deep sea level, there is actually no movement at all, but at the surface level, it appears as movement.
Okay,
So how we
So
can
the
detach is what is the crux, ma'am? The detachment part.
So just to go back to the I am, because that inner power is the one, just to know that this, whatever these sense objects, the seeing, the hearing, we are so caught with our sense objects. I heard this, oh, that guy spoke like this about me and I am all disturbed. At work, that I heard my boss say this about me to somebody. That hearing is a part of what? The sense organs. And now I am caught with that. But how did that hearing happen? The disturbance is because I am caught with that hearing, what I heard. But when I turn around from the outside and turn around to say, where did the power for that hearing come? And that self has, there is no direct experience in it at all. There's no hearing in that. It is just the fan which is running. So when I turn to that and I say, I am, then I know that, oh, this hearing is part of senses and senses is just the outside. It is not me. And I can let it go. I see something, somebody is looking at me and doing something. And I get agitated. But that agitation is because of the seeing, which is a function of the eyes. The power for that seeing, who is behind that? I am. And that I am is what? That bed of ocean, which Varalakshmi ji just said. Calm. Just there. Just being. The ripples are only on the surface. At the base, we are completely peaceful. So let go of the anatma. The seeing is part of this thing, so let go. Because that is anatma, that is not the atma. Eyes. The feeling is part of the mind, so let go, it is the anatma. So I'll be with the atma. Very nice discussions. What is the time? Way past.
Ma'am, it's
Okay,
nearing
ma'am.
8 o'clock.
Sir, I think nearing 8 now, or 7:45.
We will close. Just mark the, where did we stop?
I think last but one paragraph.
Page number 56, two more paragraph there.
Yeah.
If there be sufficient mental poise
Correct.
from there.
Yeah, from there we have to. Should we continue or?
Oh no, we will stop. We will go next.
Okay. Fine.
We will continue with that next. Okay.
Okay.
So who will today even I felt some block in the flow somehow, like my usual thing. It was not flowing.
Today's topic is a little this thing different topic, and then it has a lot of contradictory things. In our limited understanding, we do see different things differently. Where in one place you have mentioned like this, in another place is mentioned like that is because of our limited understanding. So in that limited knowledge screen, we see it. So I think gradually, as we progress further and further, it'll become more and more clear, because same thing should be mentioned in so many other this thing verses also. It will fall in place gradually.
But I think finally we came to we will continue the reading. Finally, some this thing did come, because the doership is where there was a little bit of that thing, but that also became clarified. That everything, the doership is in the senses, it's in the mind, those are anatma, so you let go and we are the self. It appears as though I am the doer, but it is not. Because the doer does not do, I does not do anything, just powers. So with that thought, we will stay. Om Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyanto, ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. So who will take up the verse 6 for next class? Any volunteers?
I can take it up, madam.
Okay.
I can take it up. I'll
Varalakshmi hasn't done it, so she's. We will
Ma'am,
come
just
back in a cycle after everybody is done.
yeah, we have to summarize, and what I understood, I am giving it as a summary. Is it like that?
For that shloka.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Shloka number 6.
Yes.
I
Actually,
see that
that's
Diva has done, Premaji and Mamtaji haven't done. If you both wish to do, there is no pressure to do, but it is a very good exercise. So we have 2 more people. If you both can do it, then we will come back to the cycle again with others.
Fine.
Okay?
That's correct. Correct.
Okay. So that is fine. Okay.
Okay.
So next
We-
week,
Ram,
verse
Ram,
6.
Aarti,
Ram, Ram.
excuse me, Aarti. We have to
Yes,
explain the chapter, I mean the shloka meaning. That's what you are telling.
No,
Hello?
try to explain in your own words what you have understood. That is more than enough.
Whichever verse.
Whatever you have understood, that is enough. It may be, there is no need to worry about the correctness or anything. How much you have understood, that is enough.
That's it. Yes, ma'am.
That's enough. That's it. Fine.
Okay.
It is just our own manana.
That's all. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Ram,
Thank
Ram,
you.
Ram.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Aarti.
Thank you, Aarti ji.
Happy weekend.